Star Wars has been pretty quiet for the last couple of years, but with The Mandalorian and Grogu movie coming out, as well as new games like Galactic Racer and Zero Company, it feels like it's making a comeback in 2026. These are 10 Star Wars games you should be playing this year to get back into the galaxy far, far away. In no particular order, but we have to start with a LucasArts classic. If you haven't played it, you've likely heard of it. Republic Commando is one of the best games to ever come out of the franchise. It's a fan favorite, and really for good reason. It still holds up even today, with clean and responsive gameplay, and it's a pretty perfect example of what a good single-player first-person shooter should be. Delta Squad are pretty iconic at this point, and the squad leader element is a fun and unique gameplay design, and it can make every playthrough a little bit different depending on how you approach each mission. The game follows in the same vein as the older classic first-person shooters, stuff like GoldenEye or Perfect Dark. It's just an excellent self-contained game, and it's one of those things where if you're a fan of Star Wars, you should play through this one at least once. Republic Commando can get a little gritty though, so as far as wholesome family entertainment, LEGO really stands on top of the peak, and 2023's The Skywalker Saga actually delivers one of the best LEGO experiences out there. Getting to play through all 9 mainline Star Wars movies is really a dream come true, and as one of the more modern LEGO installments, it's an extremely polished game with so much content. It's got so much content you won't know what to do with it or have enough time to unlock it all. It's got characters and vehicles and skins ranging from all 3 eras of the story, DLC packs from the movies and TV shows to complement the experience, and it's all packaged in that fun and goofy LEGO vibe that really appeals to all ages. This one's a must-have in the Star Wars collection, and it's something you can get lost in for hours while you wait for your next new favorite game to come out. One of those new games being Galactic Racer, which is slated for release sometime this year. As of making this video, we don't have an exact release date, but while we wait, we can still have fun racing pods in the Star Wars galaxy. Racer Revenge is another classic game from the LucasArts era that really scratches that casual arcade racing experience. This one is a product of the early 2000s, so don't expect insane graphical fidelity, but what you can expect is mayhem and fun for hours. Playing this game and imagining what Galactic Racer could be should be enough to get any fan excited for the new one, but this game should hold us over while we wait. It's one of those classic games. I'm talking input cheat code and get big head kind of classic, so have fun with this one. If you like the vehicle gameplay and you're looking for that same kind of action, but you want something a little more competitive or modern, there's always this underrated gem, Star Wars Squadrons. This game is a phenomenal flight simulator, on top of just being a great Star Wars game. As one of the last games to release under EA's exclusivity deal for making Star Wars games, it was pretty overshadowed by more popular titles like their mobile Galaxy of Heroes game, and of course the Battlefront franchise, which we will talk about in this video, of course. But for any pilots out there, this is the game for you. 5 ship classes to choose from, and a strong game balance. It really scratches that competitive itch. And since this is Star Wars physics, it's more unique than other flight simulators that are out there, like Ace Combat or something. Fans of that franchise and other games, though, would really like this one. The online multiplayer player base doesn't seem that big these days, but maybe we can help bring it back. And there's always the single-player campaign and offline modes, too. Well, I already mentioned them, so might as well talk about them now. The games that launched this entire YouTube channel to superstardom, EA's Star Wars Battlefronts are still 2 of the best Star Wars games out there and are still an incredibly fun, ongoing multiplayer experience. Whether you want to capture command posts or practice your hero gameplay, the Battlefront franchise is sort of that all-in-one Star Wars game. It's got a little something for everybody. Battlefront 2015 is what I've always called the complete original trilogy experience. Everything from the UI aesthetic, the vibe, the characters and weapons, just everything about it screams OT. And I love that about it. Not to mention a lot of the exclusive content that isn't in the sequel, like the entire Rogue One DLC, Dengar, Nyan Num. If you want to play that content, you have to play 2015. But then you've also got Battlefront 2, which just takes everything great about that first game and makes it 10 times better. More modes, more heroes, trooper classes spanning all 3 eras of mainline Star Wars. It's the complete package, and it still holds up today in terms of graphics and gunplay. Sure, the saber combat is kind of janky, but there is a skill curve, and you can always go to the various tips and tricks video that I've got on the channel, so it doesn't matter. Battlefront 1 and 2 are must-haves in the Star Wars collection, especially on PC now that the Kyber servers are such a huge hit. But let's say you like Battlefront, but can't stand the janky sabers. I totally get it. Enter Jedi by Respawn Entertainment. Fallen Order and Survivor are two of the best Star Wars games in the history of Star Wars games. Full stop, period. Puzzles and exploration that are inspired by the classic Zelda and Tomb Raider titles, action and combat that is lifted right out of more modern Souls-likes, and one of the most authentic Padawan to Jedi Knight experiences that's out there. Fallen Order lays a solid foundation for future games, and it has a great cast of compelling characters, the strong gameplay elements that I've mentioned already, and it's a worthy addition to Star Wars lore. Survivor just takes everything great about Fallen Order and cranks it up to 11. This is one of my personal favorite games of all time, and with new features that didn't exist in the first one, like the saber forms and new blaster gameplay, it feels like a perfect sequel in terms of progressing the story and pushing the limits of the gameplay. I also give major props for how they weaved the High Republic into the story. This is one of the few pieces of Star Wars media that actually has me wanting to see more out of the High Republic, something that the novels and comics just hasn't been able to do so far. Respawn did a stellar job with Jedi, but they're still in the kitchen cooking those Star Wars recipes. Another new game coming out this year is Zero Company, which Respawn is making in collaboration with Bit Reactor, and it's a strategy game in the same style as XCOM. As of making this, we don't have a release date for this one either. But what we do have is another game from years past that still holds up and can scratch that real-time itch before Zero Company releases. Empire at War is another classic from the LucasArts era that puts you in the shoes of the greatest military commanders in the galaxy. If you want to live out the Grand Admiral Thrawn power fantasy, this is it. And this is Legends material too, so you get to play with all different kinds of units and vehicles that maybe you haven't seen yet in other media if all you've consumed is the canon stuff. Empire at War is a cult favorite. Those who play it love it, but since it's a bit older, it doesn't have the largest player base anymore. We could change that in 2026 and get more players on the strategy hype train. That way Zero Company can make a bigger impact, and personally I think the two games really complement each other too, where Empire at War focuses on the grander, large-scale battles, while Zero Company appears to focus on small-scale operations. With both games, you get the best of both worlds. We're capping off this video with a game that really doesn't get the appreciation I think it deserves. Bounty Hunter puts you in the shoes of Jango Fett, one of the most criminally underdeveloped characters in all of Star Wars, and it's a pretty solid classic experience that still provides a fun escape today. It's not the most polished game in this video, but if you're willing to take your time and just get lost in it and experience Jango's story, you'll find yourself having a great time and appreciating it for what it is. If a more modern game is something you're interested in, you could always do Star Wars Outlaws in place of Bounty Hunter. It has that similar feel as a third-person action-adventure game, and K-Vess is kind of the smuggler side of Jango Fett's Bounty Hunter coin. Whichever one you go with, there is hours of gunplay and fun to be had. But with that, those are 10, maybe 11 if you count Outlaws, Star Wars games that you should absolutely be playing this year in the Big 26. In no particular order either. These are just the ones that I wanted to talk about today and why they're so great. But that's all from me. Make sure to like the video, guys. This has been Star. Keep shining, baby.